Hello again from Skip, Victor Echo 6 Bravo Golf Tango. So this is part 3 of the new 13 centimeter feet project. Finally got it tuned up, and now the next part is getting it mounted on some kind of framework, something so it'll sit on the dish. This part is always kind of the fun part, I think, getting your hands dirty, and there was some interesting moments. First thing I had to do was build up some kind of mounting plate for this new copper waveguide to sit onto, so it'd be able to sit up in the mounting of the dish itself. Using my existing 9 centimeter feed, I kind of knew where the focal point was going to be because of that one, so I made a paper template and I figured out where this new copper waveguide was going to sit, and also had to keep in mind that it's got to be long enough for this new plate or new mounting to slide back and forth on this motor actuator, which you'll see later on in the project here. So, to start with, I still have some 3/16 aluminum plates, so that's going to be the base plate, and that's what all of my feeds are made of, so this is where we started. Alrighty, we're going to cut ourselves a piece of plate aluminum with our little trusty little plasma cutter. I haven't used it in a long time, hope it still works. So that's it there, and we'll swing it over here. Yeah, somewhere in that area. Rotated. Way too easy. Clean up the edge a little bit. There's some things I still like using a saw though. My blade is so worn out. Got a big missing chunk. Quite often catches it and throws the blade right off the wheel. Someday I'll replace the darn thing, if I ever think of it. Good. So I think I know where I think you know where I'm going with this piece, so it's going to be the stand, eh? It's going to have to go above. Gotta build 2 of these and get the right height for the center of the dish. So, 1 more piece. So I got the second one cut, and then I welded on some, we'll call ledges, lips, whatever, for hose clamps to hold the pipe on to later. Got them cut to the right height, and next was the bottom plate of it all. Pretty neat aluminum weld, much easier, especially the dirty old stuff. Getting there. It's darn cold in the garage here, you know, it helps. Any little bit helps. Just going to tack her together to get the other side of it. That'll do. They'll hold it together while I get the rest of the tack anyways. Yeah. Kind of ugly looking, but the grind will help immensely. Yeah. I never claimed to be a good welder, especially aluminum. Cool off and we'll grind her down and get the inside. Normally do the inside first. Down the rough edges a bit. Well, it definitely covers up my ugly mess, but unfortunately, it'll still be on the inside. I grind most of the welding away, so there isn't too much there. But, better than nothing. Nobody's going to see it's up in the dish. Well, it's built. I almost forgot to video some of this. So, there's a saddle for the feed. And it's going to fit in like that. Yeah, it's going to fit. Reason, view here, yeah. The reason so much back here is because the focal point of the dish is around here, up front here somewhere. The dish frame mount is right around here, and then it's about that long. I need some room for the mechanical adjuster to move it back and forth, so I need extra. This is a standard length for all of my feeds. Just that most of them have amplifiers back here. This one and the 1296 doesn't, but the 1296 one goes back that much farther. So, anyways, I can build a crash frame now for it, and it's coming along. So I made a square frame, we'll call it, out of some round tubing. I got quite a bit of this stuff laying around from some old HF antenna projects I did, so it's handy to have. But it, of course, warped a little bit. I had to bend it here and there, but it finally came together. Yeah, I got the horns welded together. I've missed a couple of spots I got to attach up, but for now we're just going to knock down the beads. This is the handiest little tool. Cheap little Canadian Tire item, you know, more for wood and stuff, but works good in aluminum. Coming along. There's a couple of spots I got to touch up yet, but it's coming along. That's how you do it. Well, I've got to make some aluminum inserts for the crash cage. Got a 0.75 inch rod. I got to knock it on the 1/2 inch. Little ways to go, not too far. Almost there. Right on the money. Good enough. Now we'll just cut them up in pieces. All right, cut the sections off. I got the little inserts done. Well, now I gotta do some pilot holes. Short and sweet. Next one. And so on. And finally, a hole for the number 20 drill bit for the threaded hole. Put one over here. And the next one. And then finally the tapping. And you probably think I'm going to run the lathe. Wrong. Not that crazy. No, I just do it this way, the old-fashioned way. At least this way it's square with the world. And it takes really no time at all. So. Maybe the lathe, I could put the lathe in a little gear and it'd do it, but I'd probably just snap off the tap. And, then I'd be in a world of hurt. It don't take long. Anyway. We'll wash the stuff with some oil on and we'll get her done. I drilled a hole through the pipe. Just somewhere to spot weld the darn thing. Here's the insert. Could have made it a bit tighter, but yeah, it works. Give it a quick zap. Oh, go too far with that one. That's good. Yeah, that's in a good solid. So that was a bit messy. Let's try one of these. Again, hole, insert. Burn that a little bit. A little too much heat in the other one. Yeah, perfect. to whittle that down a bit and should be good to go. So that was the 4 crash frame legs, we'll call them. They had to have those inserts in them so I could be threaded or tapped inside and then bolted from underneath. Got to cut them to length now and get them attached to the other square frame. So that round notch was milled in the end of the pipe, those stand legs, so they'd match up with the other round pipe. It's better not having a gap when you're trying to weld, especially aluminum, because it just vaporizes. Anyways, all done, grounded down and polished up pretty, and it fits on the frame. So this part is done. Just one more part to do. Anyways, just squaring up the corners. Anyways, with that piece of metal squared off nicely, of course, there had to be more holes drilled and more holes tapped. So that's always a boring part of the job. But anyways, it made a good preamp mount for that part. And then the little stand on the back is for the, what am I going to call it, interface cable to the dish. So anyways, all that done, it's a completed unit. Hard to believe. At this point, I decided I'm going to forego any more testing. The 13 special event weekend's coming up. I want to get this thing done and working, so got to get it wired, testing, and then get ready for the weekend. So I decided to go for it. So I've got this thing on the bench. It's finally coming together. I've decided I'm going to wire this thing up and try and get it ready for the weekend for the 13 centimeter event that's coming up. So that's going to go on here, and then a relay, and then wiring the jack up to it. It's very simple. It's not to it, but I have another issue, is I've got this thing in the way. I'm working on this for a friend. This is a monster, so he's in no rush. I'm going to set it aside again for a little bit and then go back to the feet, because this is not going to take me long. And then hopefully tomorrow, if the weather's holding, I'll be able to put it on the dish, and with the motorized feed positioner, I can get the focal point figured out and stuff like that. So I really like to use this for the special event on the weekend. So we shall see what happens. So first off, let's get the RF lines connected. I went through my box of assorted goodies and picked out some line, cut it to size, and got it mounted. That was the hardest part, I guess I'd say, but anyways, the wiring came together, got it hooked up to the back to the interface connection, and it was fairly straightforward. Well, with all that's put together, it's looking pretty good, so I guess test a few things, and that'll be it. So it's all wired up. Just going to double check things. I have a nice little test box here I built at it's mostly for checking out the feeds that have the power amps on them and stuff like that, but I can control different things by just plugging it in, and works good. So it's hooked up to the power supply giving me my 12 and 24 volts to the switch box, and then on the back, can't see it, through the amp funnel connector. So if I zoom out here a bit, go back over here. But no, you just can't see them both. Oh well. We're going to do the preamp first. That's this one. And we turn it on. We have 12 volts coming off the preamp, so that's good. And off. And then on the relay over here, 24 volts. So that's good. I heard it click. So she's a working unit. I guess all that is left now to get it out in the dish and do a solder test and get the focal point working. So that'll be the next thing. So this is my feed actuator I use for adjusting for the focal point. Once I'm done, I just mark it. It just doesn't sit up there all the time. It's just temporary. It's got rollers on here that it sits upside down, and that big plate of the feed that is on it rolls on this back and forth sort of thing, so it slides easy. I used to try it just on aluminum, it just bound. It never moved it. So you see it slides nice. This is what ties on the feed. So it's upside down. But anyways, you can see the actual, I'm just going to test it here, make sure everything's working. I haven't used it in a long time. So 12 volts. And let me lower the voltage a bit so it doesn't take right off. But, oh yeah. There's a micro switch. Slide this just a bit. It stops it. And backwards. Same thing. So I get about, I don't know, 10 inches of travel. I'm hoping I have everything mounted in the right spot on the feed to, get the distance right. It has all the other feeds, so I think if I compare it with, say, the 9 centimeter feed, I'll be close. And that's kind of a clunky thing, but it works. I just simply down in the shack, I just have a switch. I flip this back and forth, and I just want to make sure the micro switches are working. Yep. So put it in the center, and it'll be good. Hopefully, I'm hoping to do this tomorrow with the sun, if the weather's permitting. It's, believe it or not, it's 20 below the other day. And today, right now, at about almost 8 o'clock in the evening, it's 5 above. It's crazy weather. I don't know what to say about Alberta. If you don't like the weather, just wait 20 minutes. It'll probably change. Right about there. Anyways, we're all set. Hopefully it'll be nice tomorrow. So everything's wired up for 1296 right now, so I gotta get everything changed, swapped over for 2304. So this is the output cable. It's gotta go up here. Output dish feed connections. So let me just take this off and turn it in. This is a connection to the ancient 5/8 hardline EX. That's this cable here going off the combiner. My remind me tag that show me what's hooked up out of the dish. I have an 1 5/8 here and then 7/8 up here. I can swap them around. This is normally used for the 9 centimeters above usually. So that's done now. I gotta get the IF cable here. That's gonna go to here. Probably can't see much. You get the idea. Now the receive line is this one. It's gotta go over here and hook up with the input of the transverter. And some issues here. I already stand in the way of the camera. Sorry about that. Since we're water cooled, we have to have the water lines, water control for the pumps from the 1296 over to the 13 centimeter control, pick control. And that is this one. Here up to the middle here somewhere. There. And the preamp control. Now there's something I got to rig into this later, but I'll look at the preamp for now. There's the preamp control here. There's spare wires in here, and this is where I run my motorized actuator through these wires. So I'll have to hook up that adapter later, but for now I'm just going to put it on here. Okay. So let's see. Receive line, IF. Transmit line coming out of here. This is, well, that's a different line we're not using. Oh yeah, one of the more important things, probably can't see it, but I'll zoom down here, is water lines. So we have to close the 1296, put on 2304 on both cavities. We have dual cavities over here, we got dual heat exchangers over here. So I think we're good. I think that'll fix her up. We get things wired up for tomorrow's test. Hopefully, anyways. I was talking about that adapter for the actuator. So this is the wire that goes over. It's temporary, so it's nothing permanently installed. So it's got a breakout for the two wires I need to run the motor. So let's take the preamp off here again. Get this. Too many cables, too many wires. So I've got to take this preamp lead, put it in here. Then the wired one outside. Let's go on this side here. Goes in this breakout. Oh, like this. So. That's all that's hooked up, and then it just goes down and over to the bench. There's a switch there. You'll see it tomorrow when I hook things up. Well, I did have the rest of the video made, but it was just getting too long. The whole thing was going to be way over an hour, so I decided to break this into two parts. So this is the end of part one. Part two will be shortly after this, and we'll continue on with this experiment. So thanks for watching. Stay tuned.